All right, buckle up for this deep dive. We're going exploring the backstory of a new newsletter called the Sexplorer.
Yeah, this is a fascinating one. We've got a sign up page, pretty standard, but then a whole PDF, the backstory. It's like, here's this guy Marty's whole life laid bare.
Right from the start, he's like, come, watch me build a movement, around sex and self-expression, and no apologies for how direct he is.
Not at all. I mean, the sign up page has this quote: I want to live in a world where we raise a glass to our presidents for getting a little oral in the Oval. And it just sets the tone.
Okay, so not your grandma's self-help newsletter,
Hmm.
but then the PDF, the backstory, it's almost confessional, right? It's Marty. He calls himself a failed businessman, wannabe writer, living in, quote, a shitty apartment in Copenhagen.
It's striking, that contrast. Normal setting, but these huge ideas he's got. He's in debt, no job, and always chasing happiness, pleasure, meaning. It's like he's trying to write his own life into existence.
And he's so upfront about it all. It's refreshing in a way, just here I am, deal with it. But then there's this part, he says he's an artist with no artistic skills.
Hmm.
And there's this frustration, like he's trapped.
Absolutely. Yearning to create, but maybe scared to actually do it. And he talks about not liking rules, preferring these inner voices, which he says are getting louder and louder.
So are those voices pushing him towards good, the newsletter, or are they taking him down some darker path?
It's early to tell, right? But the backstory hints. We get this picture of Marty in Copenhagen. He's 43, scruffy but attractive, medium long hair, and he says, quote, a decent dick.
He doesn't hold back, that's for sure. And then there are the visuals in the PDF, some artsy, others, well, lots of nudity, and yeah, that decent dick front and center.
Interesting choice, huh? Provocative, sure, pushing boundaries around how we see sexuality, but is it more some deeper meaning to the images? Are they like symbols of his journey or something?
Something to think about. But back to the story. We find out Marty's just back from 6 weeks in Spain. Supposed to be van life, working on a project, but it turned into, well, lots of drinking and partying.
Sounds like a pattern with him. He talks about this fling, wealthy Norwegian woman, almost regrets not hitting her up for cash. Kind of a live for the moment, no planning ahead.
Yeah, and now he's back, hungover. Used this word, Klein, apparently Norwegian for hungover. Picked it up from the fling. Drinking skinny bitches for breakfast, which later we find out are cocktails. Reading Bukowski. It's a mix of just indulging himself and this, I don't know, search for some truth with a capital T.
Then he meets this woman at some dingy bar. She's got dark hair, eyes that swallowed you whole, and a body that made you want to do bad things. Immediate connection, that sense of adventure, and, well, they spend the night together.
But the next morning, that excitement is gone. He's hungover, full of regret, and that same emptiness is back. Like he's constantly chasing something, but never finding it.
It's like he's stuck, right? Searching for something outside himself, but never really finding it. And then this dream he has, it's like, bam, shakes him up.
Yeah, things get kind of trippy. There's this old Asian man outside a church telling him, sober up and get to work. It's a wake-up call, like stop avoiding the real shit, as he calls it.
Gets to the heart of it, right? He wants to create something, but he keeps getting pulled back to instant gratification.
Classic struggle, right?
Oh,
Pleasure now versus something meaningful later. And in this case, pleasure wins. Instead of writing, he's like, another wank. Just lays it all out there.
it's honest, though. Makes you see how hard it is for him to change, even when he knows he needs to.
Makes you wonder, is this whole newsletter, the Sexplorer, his way of breaking free? Like, maybe he's trying to turn this obsession with pleasure into something bigger, confront those demons head on.
Interesting thought, and it ties into those visuals, doesn't it? The naked bodies, the focus on the male form. Maybe it's all about provoking us, making us think about how we view sexuality.
Or maybe it's more personal,
Mm.
like he's trying to figure out his own sexuality, his desires, how they fit into his life. That decent dick he keeps mentioning, maybe it's a symbol like power or masculinity,
Yeah.
something he's both showing off and struggling to control.
Definitely open to interpretation, but I think he's using those visuals for a reason. It's not just shock value. He's trying to say something about desire, about what it means to be human.
Yeah, and he's being vulnerable, showing his flaws. It's not this pondered image, it's just him saying, here's the messy truth, come along for the ride.
That's what's different, right? He's not some guru with all the answers. He's just saying, this is my struggle. Maybe you can relate.
So the story ends with him leaving the apartment, the girl's still asleep, and he's haunted by that dream, that feeling of running away from things. It feels like a turning point. Which way will he go? Back to old habits? Or will he finally face the music?
Total cliffhanger. And it makes you think, what is sexistence for him, really? Just another word for, I don't know, hedonism. Or is he actually searching for something deeper, something that connects him to, like something bigger?
I think it might be both. The pleasure, the pushing boundaries, that's definitely there. But there's also this hint of wanting more, something beyond those fleeting highs. And maybe that's where this whole movement idea comes in. Like, he's not just looking for physical connection, but something, I don't know, bigger, more like spiritual even.
Yeah, it could be. It's not just about sex, right? It's about being human, the whole experience, the joy and the pain, the wanting, the vulnerability. He calls it sexistence, but it's like integrating sexuality into like a whole understanding of yourself and, well, everything.
Like he's redefining Sexplorer, not just someone into, hooking up, but someone on a journey, exploring themselves and the connections between us all.
And he's inviting us along. It's not a how-to, it's just, here's my messy, screwed up journey. Maybe you can find your own from that.
It's bold. Yeah. He's not hiding the stuff we usually don't talk about. It's all there, good, bad, and the decent dick.
That's what makes it so fascinating. He's like, hey, get uncomfortable. Let's talk about sex. Really talk. He's pushing us past the surface to something deeper about ourselves.
So for us listening, why should we care about Marty and his sexistence thing?
Because it's real, you know? It's a reminder that we're all messed up in our own ways. We want things. We're vulnerable. We need connection. Maybe we don't agree with how he's doing it, but he's making us ask, hey, those questions, think about our own beliefs, and maybe see sex and self-discovery in a new light.
It's not some easy answer. It's an invitation to have the conversation, explore our own sexistence, and see where it goes.
That's the takeaway, I think. Life's about exploring, and the coolest stuff comes when you step outside what's comfortable, embrace the mess, the contradictions.
So, if you're feeling adventurous, curious about your own sexistence, maybe check out Marty's newsletter. It could be the thing that, I don't know, kicks off your own journey. And until next time, fellow deep divers, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep embracing how beautifully complex being human really is.